Hello, and welcome to the Pest Control Marketing Podcast with your host, me, Hal Coleman, uncensored and unplugged. Pay attention, take lots of notes, because you're going to find out exactly how to get more new customers, more referrals, and grow your business.
Hal Coleman has been active in the pest control industry for over 40 years, including owning and operating his own successful pest control business for 18 years. He now devotes his time to helping other PCOs and other WCOs double, triple, and even quadruple their businesses faster than they ever imagined. Be sure to check out his website, pestcontrolmarketer.com. For more information about Hal's coaching program, you can reach him at 770-993-0004 or email him hal@halcoleman.com. Mike Stewart is known as the Internet Audio and Video Guy. Since the birth of the Internet, Mike has been showing small business owners how to get more new customers, increase their sales, and grow their businesses online using audio and video, now with iPhones and Android phones. For more information about Mike's coaching program and his online training courses, visit MikeStewartCoaching.com or email him mike@internetaudioguide.com.
Well, hello, this is Hal Coleman, and welcome to another episode of the Pest Control Marketing Podcast with me and my sidekick, my dear friend, my mentor, the smartest guy about internet marketing I know, Mike Stewart.
Oh my gosh, with that kind of kudos, I don't know if I can live up to it, Hal, but I really appreciate that. I hope you mean every word of it.
Well, I want it to sound good on the podcast, you know, so I have to say good things. So how you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great, Hal. This. You know, did you know we're up to over 50 podcasts now?
That's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
And I'll tell you what, we're never going to run out of things to help PCOs and WCOs and anybody who wants to understand how to market themselves better. You know, that's the purpose of this podcast. We want to give back to our community and let them know the things that have worked for our clients and things that could work for you and things that have worked for us. So let's talk about what you want to talk about today, brother.
You know, I'll tell you what I'm going to talk about. Something you just said. You just said the word things that work for you. Do you know who I like to hear people talk about more than anybody else in the world? I like to hear them talk about me. And you like to hear them talk about you, because that's just our human nature. That is our subconscious mind. We hate to listen to somebody talk about themselves, but we love to sit and listen to people talk about us. You know, when I'm doing live workshops, I'll ask all the women in the crowd, I'll say, remember when you first were old enough to date, you first started going out and you were going out with guys? What happened if you went out with a guy and he spent all night talking about himself? And they all go, oh, no, you know, that's it, never another date. I said, what if he spent all night talking about you? And then they smile. Now he's a good guy. So we like to hear people talk about us. And so this is very important when you are trying to sell somebody something. If you're trying to sell them a termite treatment or a pest control service or a rodent repair job for their attic, whatever, it's important that you make your presentation about them and not about yourself. And the thing that 90% or 95 or 98% of salespeople do, especially in blue-collar industries such as ours, we have a tendency to toot our own horn. We think that we're going to sell the job better by telling people all about us. Oh, my company's been around for 38 years, and we've done this, and I do that, and I can do this, and we've done that, and we've done this, and we can do that, and we can done this, and we can do that. Well, this is generally a really good way to bore the person's subconscious mind, which is the decision maker. The subconscious is going to make the decision to buy from you, not your conscious mind. So in order to speak to that, we need to be, instead of saying I, me, we need to be saying you. We need to use the word you at least 4 times as much as we use the word I, me, or we. And you find that people, it makes it so hypnotic and irresistible that they almost can't resist doing business with you if you do that correctly. And an example would be, well, you have termites in your home. You know you have termites, and you know that they're not going to go away on their own. You want to protect your home. You want to protect it from things like termite damage, and you want to do business with a company that you can trust to do the job right. You want to deal with somebody that's going to get here on time and do what they say they'll do, and you want to pay a fair price and not a penny more, and you want to get a good guarantee or a great guarantee. You want to know that the company's going to stand behind it 100%. And you want to know if you ever do have a question or a problem, that it's only one phone call away. Would that be correct? And you have the person just saying yes, 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 yes to you over and over and over again, because you're telling them exactly what they want. And you're not saying, I can do this, I can do that, I can do that, we can do this, I can do this, and I can do that. So the prospect doesn't care about you, they care about themselves. So very, very important to make it about them and not make it about you. Would you agree with that, Mike?
Well, I've heard that for years, and it's a habit you've got to train your brain and your subconscious to be consistent with, because I find myself many times, wanting to boast about accomplishments, because you think that if I share my accolades and my accomplishments, that's going to impress you enough to want to do business with me. But you're so right. In fact, I had a mentor years ago, and it's funny that you say that, talking about when you surveyed women dating. He used to say from the stage, he said, getting a customer is very much like dating. And he says, nobody thinks that on the first date you go, my, you're a beautiful woman, let's get married. I mean, that woman would go, God, what a weirdo, what a creep. But so many business people want to close the sale, in the first meeting. And so sometimes you have to do the same techniques that you would do in dating to build that relationship of know, like, and trust, whether it's your website or whether it's in person or whether it's making a sales call or whether it's on the phone, however you're contacting with that prospect. Because if you make it about you, then you're just doing what the typical marketing, advertising thought process that, I see television commercials all the time. We've been in business for 100 years. We're the number one dealer, the number one business in this area. We just won the J.D. Powers Award, and I understand that that's accolades, but the truth is when you're a small business, you have got to court and build that know, like, and trust factor, and you do that by not making it all about you, but, asking the questions in such a way that gets the story across, but focuses on how you're making it about them. In fact, I have another dear mentor, Alex Mandozian used to teach that. He was my mentor, very, very successful marketer, and he just said, remember, marketing is like dating. You build a relationship. Some relationships build faster than others, but at the end of the day, it's all about doing whatever it takes to build that trust, and sometimes the first meeting is, just get a cup of coffee. Let's get to know each other. That could be the very first sales meeting. It may take a couple of sales meetings, but if you keep that mindset, there was an old joke, enough about me, what do you think about me? That's what people do. That's what people do. And another friend of mine who's a great, and I got to give a shout out to her. You ought to check out Felicia Slattery. And I'm going to give her a shout out. She's a brilliant speaker. She's a speaking coach. And she talks about when you're networking, generally when people go up to somebody, to a stranger, the first thing they say is, hi, I'm Mike Stewart. I'm with Websites You Control Yourself. We build great websites, and it's me. That's the tendency. But the first thing she says when you're at a networking meeting, oh, Hal, it's so nice to meet you. Tell me about yourself. Very first question. And they just open up and explode. You just said, I am interested in you. Tell me about your business. Tell me what you do. Tell me how you're different. Ask questions. And the next thing you know, that know, like, and trust factor goes to the point where they may turn into a customer. So anyway, that's my comments. I couldn't agree more, but I have to tell you, it's hard because your ego, or that, what did you used to call it?
Elmo.
Your Elmo, your ego, your id, whatever those psychological things make you want to be proud of your accomplishments. And so you think in selling, and I don't think there's never a place to tell people if they ask you, well, what kind of awards have you won? Well, you don't need to say, well, I'm not going to tell you, but let them, ask questions, and you ask questions that make it more about them than more about you.
Yeah, as you know, I've always been a real active networker, Mike, and the first book I ever wrote was called The Networking Ninja Handbook, and it's about how to become a master ninja networker. And my favorite technique that I used when I was networking locally, when I owned my pest control business, what I would go to an after-hours meeting or a social, and I would say, "Hi, I'm Hal Coleman," and they'd say, "Hi, I'm Fred Johnson." I'd say, "What do you do, Fred?" And if he said, "Well, I'm an electrician," I'd say, "Really?" I said, how'd you get into the electrical business? I bet there's a story there. And they would just light up and say, "Well, yeah, there kind of is a story." And they start telling me how they got into it. See, we all want to tell our story. Everybody has a story to tell, and we all want to tell our story, but most people spend most of their time telling us their story. And that's not what we're interested in. So yeah, just bring it out of the person. Talk to them. Make it about you. I think we said about all we can say about this, but it's very important that you make it about the other person and not make it about you, and use the word "you" at least 4 times as much as you use the words "I," "me," or "we," and it will help you close more deals, make more sales, get more new customers, and make more deposits in your bank. And that, my friends, is a fact. So, Mike, wrap it up.
Well, I can't help but bring this back to Mr. Online here. Do you know there are 5 ways that people could tell stories and invite their referral partners to tell stories that help generate know, like, and trust factors on the internet? You know what those 5 things that every business owner could do to get their stories out there and share stories of their referral partners and colleagues? You know what those are, Hal?
Tell me. Tell me quick.
Well, the number one thing that most businesses never do is the very thing you're listening to: podcasting. Now, what is podcasting? Podcasting is posting a recording, an audio recording of content, of stories. Now, number 2, which has been successful for so many people of telling stories. A great one is if you've never heard of the Pioneer Woman, that's a great story. The Pioneer Woman started a blog, and all a blog is written stories. And she just wrote stories about what it was like to cook on a ranch. And people love those stories so much that she's now a famous Food Channel television show. And it all started with telling stories on a WordPress blog. So number 2, you need to have your website in WordPress so you can tell stories. Number 3, tell stories and solve problems and answer questions in a YouTube channel. Hal, it breaks my heart when we have so many clients over the year of all businesses, and you tell them, here's an opportunity for you. In fact, I'm not going to name names, but I was consulting somebody yesterday, and they just wanted to fight with me about, well, those videos that you showed me really look bad. And I go, it's information, it's content. It's not trying to get on Netflix or NBC. It's just information. It's stories. They don't have to be perfect. They just need to be real. So number 3, make it all about the stories in YouTube. Make it all about other people. Interview real estate agents. Interview other experts in the community.
Bro. Yeah.
There's all kinds of things. I have people come back and say, well, what do I do? Well, ask questions of people that are related that could become referral partners. What if you had a YouTube channel or a podcast or a blog and you ask a referral partner to say, I'd like to interview you. And in fact, I know that's working because up here in Nashville, you probably heard, you remember being a songwriter, Hal. Douglas Corner is a famous songwriter venue. Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood all got their starts at Douglas Corner. I mean, it's a famous place here in Nashville. And we just started telling stories. It's called Stories from the Corner. In fact, I want people to go check out, if you're listening to this podcast, if you want to hear some fun stories about music and a passion of mine and Hal's, music, the Douglas Corner podcast is a great show to listen to. But it's an example of making it about other people, and people are coming every week wanting to be on this podcast now because they want to tell their stories. So number 3 thing that you can do online is share your stories in social media. Make it about other people and get it up on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram. In fact, nowadays Facebook says a place is to share a story. Instagram calls it stories. So there's another opportunity to make it all about somebody else, but make you be the hero. And
there you go.
So anyway, that was 4. I probably spoke too soon on about 5, but I'll think of a 5th one another day. But you know what? I love these podcasts. Let Hal and me know that you're listening, you're liking, and go into Facebook. If you're not a member of the Facebook group, go in there and say, you know what? Mike and Hal, talk about this in your next podcast. We want your feedback. Also, give us a review on iTunes and give us a review on Stitcher.
And that's Pest Control Marketing Gold on Facebook. Just go in there, join the group, because I'm constantly sharing tips and strategies and techniques and answering questions. And I ask a lot of questions on there too, and just did one this morning. So, get involved with us. And there are a lot of places where we'd like to hear from you, and we can share helpful tips with you. If you're interested in finding out more about our coaching programs, you can call me at 770-993-0004. Be happy to give you more information. I'll treat you to a 1-hour free double your business coaching session. You'll come away with a ton of great information and insights about growing your business. It won't cost you a penny. And Mike, how do they find out about you?
Well, you can go to MikeStewartCoaching.com. And just to let you know, I give a 50% discount to PCOs because of my relationship with Hal. If you go to MikeStewartCoaching.com, just know that when it says that's the hourly fee, you get 2 hours for the price of one on that website. So basically,
cool. I get that too? Can I get that deal too?
Well, tell me a little bit about yourself. Let's make sure we're a good fit.
Well, I don't think we are.
And you can call me at 770-826-3662. That's 770-826-3662. Hal, I've enjoyed hearing about you, but I got to go drink the rest of my coffee. So have a great day.
I do too. Thanks, Mike. Folks, thanks for listening to this episode of the Pest Control Marketing Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Pest Control Marketing Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast in iTunes and on your phones and in Stitcher on your Android. But more importantly, go to our website, PestControlMarketingPodcast.com. Subscribe to our email list to always be notified of new episodes. You're never going to want to miss what we got coming up next, and you never know what we're going to be able to do to help you with your pest control marketing.